Hey everybody, and welcome again to the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. My name is Mike Parker, the host of the show, and I just want to wish everybody a safe and happy upcoming holiday season whenever you're tuning in here. Daylight savings is upon us. It's dark when you drive home from work. The deer are running everywhere across Pennsylvania, and it's just nice to get home, unwind, stop by the local Appalachian brew pub and have a beer. So with that, I am partaking this week of sampling, I'll say, of a couple of different things. One of the newer offerings here is the PA Cream Ale, a beer that we talked about with the brewmaster Artie a few weeks ago. I'm just going to give that a sip. I'll tell you a little bit more about this beer a little bit later as we get into the show. Oh, nice. Light in color, flavorful, nice aroma. And to its left, one of my favorites, one of the flagship beers at ABC, the famous Jolly Scott. Malty, darker in color, flavorful. Drink it all year round, but this is the time of year when there's a little bit of a chill in the air that the Jolly Scott Scottish style ale is definitely one of my personal favorites. All right, every time we have a podcast, we like to bring in an Appalachian Brewing Company personality that you may or may not be familiar with. And while we talk about the beer and the food and the soda, one of the things we don't talk about a whole lot, or haven't had the chance to, are the live events. Appalachian Brewing Company, the Abbey Bar at Appalachian Brewing Company, over the past decade plus, has been established as one of the premier live music events, special event venues in all of central Pennsylvania. And joining us right now is, well, let's just say, the head mama in charge, the lady who makes it happen. Sarah Staub joins us. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, how are you, Mike? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having you here in this makeshift office of a studio that we have here. What a pleasure for you to be here with now. Listen, you're a member of the ABC family going way back. I want to say probably the first time I met you was our old buddy Jersey Mike. Used to meet up with Mike every once in a while, belly up to the bar and chat about stuff. And more than one time, because Mike would forget stuff. This is my business partner, Sarah Staub, he would say. So I know Mike. I met Sarah several times already. But it was great memories, going back so many years. Tell us, the name of your company is GreenBelt Events?
That is correct.
Okay, so when people see like the Appalachian Brewing Company newsletter or the website and it says GreenBelt Events, that's you. Tell us about your company, how it got started, and how you got affiliated with ABC.
Well, we started as a grassroots company back in the day. Jersey Mike and I were best friends, and we wanted to throw ourselves a birthday party. So all the way back in 2005, we threw a birthday party event here in February, and it was a big hit. And then I guess after that, the rest is history. We've been here ever since.
So you made an impression on the people that mattered, the Artie and Jack and Sean and everybody else who, kind of pulled the strings in management. They said, well, these people kind of know what they're doing. Maybe we should have them back and do some more stuff.
I guess so, man. It's been a great run. It's hard to believe it's been almost 15 years that we've been here. So. All
right, so the Abbey Bar is, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Harrisburg main brewery and headquarters of ABC, at 50 North Cameron Street. When you come in, you've got the brew pub, your traditional, restaurant, big bar, and, every type of beer and great food that you can imagine. But upstairs, it's kind of like, you might have been there once or twice. It's like people might have popped in, oh, we had our company Christmas party, or my husband or my wife might have had their company Christmas party, or I got invited as a friend. Those are the best ones, right? And you just come in, this is this amazing venue on the second floor, and you've got the same thing, this beautiful, restored, sort of industrial-looking, space with all sorts of wood and big bar and glass looking over the brewery from the second floor. And then there's a stage there. So let's talk about it from a space standpoint. What kind of capacity does the Abbey Bar have? How big of a show can you actually put on?
So we have both the Abbey Bar space and the back gallery. Both spaces combined, we can fit about 500 people. So we've had some large nationally touring acts that have come through over the years. And yeah, we've packed the place with 500 people. It's a great space.
So it is a great space because if you're a band that is sort of still gaining a following, but can pack the local crowd from the region, it's sort of one of those places where you feel like a big deal because having 500 people in an awesome place, jamming out is a great place to be. At the same time, if you bring in some of those nationally touring acts, especially people who have been in bigger venues and even stadiums and stuff like that. Some of the names that come to my mind, like I remember John Popper from Blues Traveler being here a few years ago. It's a really intimate setting, and that's in that respect to see somebody perform in the Abbey Bar. So talk about the type of people that you're attracting and the type of acts that you're drawing in. Does it sort of run the gamut, or is there a niche that you kind of fill?
Well, we really focus on live original music. So in our area, we have a lot of cover bands and stuff, but we really like to focus on bands that are making their own music, anything from bluegrass, rock. We do a little bit of country, but we like to get all the genres in there. We've had some of the bigger acts that we've had over the years include the Lumineers, Rusted Root. Every year we have the Clarks from Pittsburgh. So we get a large variety of both regional and nationally touring acts, and it's really something special. And
I get turned on to some of these musicians too that stop through. Man, a couple of the bands that I've started listening to over the years because I learned about them through ABC. Certainly, Spiritual Res. Always thought that they were really cool. Badfish, which is basically, since, unfortunately, Sublime in its original form doesn't exist anymore. They're sort of like, it's almost like seeing Sublime. I mean,
absolutely.
They're amazing. And then there's, remind me of the name, but it's the Reverend
Peyton's Big Damn Band.
Oh my gosh, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. Another sort of regular, like maybe once or twice a year, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that and the energy they bring. But honestly, if you stop in and you sort of just challenge yourself to explore a new style of music, something that you haven't experienced live before, it's kind of a low pressure setting to do that, because at least I know I'm going to love the beer and then I can sort of ease my way into whatever's going to be on stage that night. But I've never had a bad time kind of sampling a new act in this venue. So if you want to find out who's playing on the list monthly, weekly things, some shows are booked out like a year in advance. Some are sort of, a couple of months, and some end up being last minute based on availability. Where can we go, Sarah, to find out who's coming to ABC?
You can go to www.greenbeltevents.com, or of course you can go to abcbrew.com, check out the website, and buy some tickets in advance and save some money.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about a way that you can save some money to be one of the regulars. You don't have to just buy one show. Hey, look, there's amusement parks that people are buying season passes to so that they can go multiple times. It makes a lot of sense if you're a fan of roller coasters in that respect. If you're a fan of music, we got a great deal for you to tell you about too. How you can hook yourself up with basically unlimited shows for the year. And we'll be right back on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. Are you hungry? Because we can hook you up at Appalachian Brewing Company. Visit any one of the brew pubs. Go to abcbrew.com to find the location nearest you. Now, in November, we launched a couple of new menu items that will warm your soul. First up, chicken and waffles, a traditional Pennsylvania Dutch dish. Roasted chicken and vegetables and gravy on top of house-made golden malted waffles. I absolutely love it. It is my new favorite go-to item at ABC. I also like the Hiker's Stew. It's a hearty stew. It's full of beef and vegetables with the perfect amount of seasoning for the season. Just a great way to sort of welcome in that cold Pennsylvania air. Lastly, we added the bourbon glazed salmon, which uses our very own ABC craft bourbon in a sweet glaze to finish a perfectly cooked salmon fillet. You can check out the full menu of your local Appalachian Brewing Company, plus the daily specials and weekly specials and seasonal specials, including, like the Oktoberfest menu and Irish Fest, all those fun things. Just go to abcbrew.com and check out the menu for yourself. All right, insert the rooster sound effect right here, because it's just a funny side story here as we're back with Sarah Staub, Mike Parker here on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. I was a news reporter, in a previous life, and Sarah was almost one of my willing victims. She's just reminded me, she's like, I haven't hung out with you this much in a while, but one time you asked me to do a story on, raising chickens. So you have some chickens at the house?
Yeah, I'm a part-time chicken farmer. No, I do have about 10, 12 chickens in my backyard.
So by 10 to 12, you mean 30 to 40?
Yeah. I'm trying to decrease my numbers over the years. 2 have died of natural causes. Definitely not my fault.
All right. So you let them live a long, spoiled chicken life at the house.
They do. They're
cool.
so... they lay a bunch of eggs, but we do not eat our chickens. They're our pets.
Well, it's a natural transition because I asked you earlier about some questions. What are some of the craziest things that have, happened? What are some of the cool behind-the-scenes stories from when you've, hosted shows here at the Abbey Bar at Appalachian Brewing Company? And you said, well, a lot of the bands ask if they can stay at my house. So tell me a little bit about that.
Way back in the day, I used to be a lot nicer or more willing to stay up late at night. I now have a 6-month-old baby, so... having late night parties is not
so
really
the drummers and the bass players need to stay out.
But back in the day, I've had a lot of regionally and nationally touring bands ask to stay at my house. A memorable one, March 4th Marching Band, who we've had many times over the years. They're a 25-person band, and they asked to stay at my house.
Wow.
And for some reason, I said yes. But it was a great late night party. But for years, my neighbors were always asking me why I had giant tour buses parked in front of my house.
That's hilarious.
So, I've had some really fun parties, but the recent years, I've tried to cut back a little bit.
As the booker, the promoter, you actually, you get to, we see these people as oh my gosh, if I could only be a rock star, and you're they're pretty normal people, and they like to save money on hotels too, so they're totally, sometimes.
Well, I like to save money too. A lot of times, if it's a nationally touring band, they'll ask you to buy them hotel rooms on the rider. Mm-hmm. So...
The rider.
Rider.
Okay.
That's the special place where they ask for green M&Ms and all the fun things.
That's Britney Spears saying, I need, 4 cases of Perrier. And, why would you need 4 cases? I'm just saying, but it's almost look, how much do you want me to come? Because if you're not willing to meet this little list of craziness. So what's 1 or 2 of the craziest items you've seen? You don't have to name names, but it's okay if you do. But you don't have to. What are some of the cool things you've seen?
Yeah, I'm not going to name names on this one, but one of our artists who comes regularly always asks for ammunition on their rider. And at first I was to shoot me after
bullets?
Something goes... Bullets, yeah.
Okay.
I assume that if something goes wrong, but no, he really is just a hunter. And he also asks what the best streams are in the area. I know he goes fly fishing. I've sent him to the Yellow Breeches and Clark's Creek. Yeah, so...
That's awesome.
Next time he's in town,
I can't
can go fly fishing.
Wait to go fishing with Billy Joel. This is great. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, anything else like food-wise? Do people insist? I'm sure we feed them when they come here since there's a restaurant downstairs. But does anyone say, I have a real special request?
We definitely have some strict vegans and other dietary concerns, but. Usually they're more interested in their 3 bottles of tequila, a bottle of wine or whatever other alcoholic beverages are on their rider.
And so what happens, because I was always wondering, you said you like to save money and you can't be, so all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, well, this guy wants $1,000 worth of stuff. I'm not just making numbers up, but this guy wants $1,000 worth of stuff and I'm maybe going to make $2,000 on this show. So all of a sudden this isn't worth it. Do you ever get to the point where you can say no to riders, or are they these people pretty strict?
Absolutely, and this is my little talent buyer trick. But when you get that contract and it's got a several-page rider with $1,000 worth of stuff, we just strike the rider and write per advance, and then you advance with the tour manager, and they tell you all the special things that are really important to them.
Okay,
and that does save money.
And I guess a lot of times it's just about a comfort level too. We can't just. I'm not someone who can diagnose someone as clinically crazy or something, if that's a term. But I imagine if you're sort of living on a tour bus and going town to town, that little backstage area behind the curtain, or the little office that you get to use, or wherever there is in the new venue, it's sort of nice to have the familiar stuff. So look, if I like to drink a 6-pack of root beer and fifth of tequila and 120 green M&Ms, and it makes me feel better and makes it feel like home, I guess you got to understand that, right?
Yeah. Well, I soon came to realize that they actually pack up all the stuff that I get them and take it onto their tour bus for road snacks. I did not know that for a little while, and then I was like, oh, they don't really eat peanut butter and jelly and a whole case of clementines, while they're backstage. They take it on the bus with them.
That's
and
interesting.
Then they have snacks.
And it may just be their version of shopping because they don't have time. So if you can just get
send my intern, it just gets passed down the line,
Right. Awesome stories. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing some of that behind-the-scenes stuff. It seems crazy, but it's just the life of a local, music booker. It's so cool. Thank you for sharing that here on the podcast. All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap things up with Sarah Staub on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. So you're a beer drinker. We've established that. You're listening to a podcast about a craft brewery. So there's that. Maybe you like soda, too. Appalachian root beer, white birch beer, ginger beer. They're all great drinks. But maybe you like a little hard edge every once in a while. You like a mix or something you can make up on your own. One of your you want to invite your old buddy Tom Collins over, right? Or I don't know, what's another one? I want to have a Manhattan, or I don't know, just a vodka and cranberry.
That's my drink, Mike.
That's all the stuff that you want. Well, Appalachian Brewing Company would like to let you know about our line of Appalachian craft spirits. We've got the bourbon whiskey, the rum, the gin, the vodka, vanilla vodka, and lemon-flavored vodka varieties that you can find just by visiting all of your Appalachian Brewing Company brew pub locations. So next time you come in to check out a show or have a meal and you'd like a cocktail with your experience here at Appalachian Brewing Company, check out one of the drinks made with our fine, handcrafted varieties of Appalachian craft spirits. All right, we're back here with Sarah Staub, founder of GreenBelt Events, the exclusive booking agent here at the Abbey Bar at Appalachian Brewing Company, one of Central PA's premier live music and special events venues. Sarah, there's some of those acts that just pop up at the last minute, like, hey, they're available, we've got an open date, they come here. Other events are scheduled, weeks or months in advance. And you can go to abcbrew.com or greenbeltevents.com to find out the latest schedule. Well, let's talk about some of those events that are sort of like annuals, things that you can kind of set your clock to. What events do we just know are going to be here every season at ABC?
Well, we really try and celebrate the holidays here at Appalachian Brewing Company. We just had a fantastic Halloween party with the Dirty Sweet. We've had them in the past. They're a fantastic local funk band. Around the holidays, around Christmas time, we always have Start Making Sense. They're an amazing Talking Heads tribute band. They normally sell out the room. Then in the new year, around February, we have Millennium Music Conference. That is a 3-day free event. Lots of free music throughout the evening. This year they're doing it at the Hilton downtown. There's workshops and conferences throughout the day, and it's just a really great way to learn more about the music industry. In May, we do an Anniversary Fest every year. That's another free show. We just had Marco Benevento this past May. I believe it was a sold-out show. I was in the hospital having a baby, but I heard it was great. What else? Yeah, we just have those bands that come through every single year. Mm-hmm. We have the Clarks scheduled again for usually around April. They come every year. Yeah.
Awesome. Also, any bands that you had here at the venue, before they were stars that made it big?
We've definitely had some Grammy Award winners here. Some of the bands that we've had right before they broke and got really big. We had the Lumineers.
Right.
We've had the Hold Steady several times.
Oh, yeah.
J. Roddy Walston and The Business is also getting really big. And then we've had those bands that have played Red Rocks after they've, played here. Turquoise, the Wood Brothers, Rusted Root, just to name a few.
Right. So it's awesome. So you want to check out some of the best live music that you can find in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, an easy place to get to by all accounts from any corner of the state and our neighboring places like Jersey and Maryland. It's just it's a venue worth coming to. Appalachian Brewing Company, a place worth visiting, no matter which one is closest to you. We thank you for tuning in this week to the podcast. I want to thank my special guest, founder of GreenBelt Events, Sarah Staub. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you for listening once again. It's been my pleasure. We'll look forward to the holiday season ahead. Be safe, have fun, and we'll see you next time on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast.